I think a lot of people don't understand that the reason and why the reason you do things matters. What I mean by that is when you see yourself doing things for maybe selfish reasons, maybe you're trying to escape something, or you find yourself, the reason you're doing things is not a positive type of reason. So think of like when you're trying to help somebody. Are you helping that person because you want to see them improve, you want to see like their life get better, or are you helping them because you know you're going to feel better after helping them? That's the type of question you got to ask yourself. And what I'm going to talk about today is the reason that you do things and how it can affect how motivated and disciplined you are in doing them consistently. So, if you always do things with the uh, with the intention of maybe trying to escape something, like I said before, you're gonna burn out. What I mean by that is like you have to be content with where you are in order to feel less empty. The when you gotta see it in both sides. So the first side, think about it as if you're doing everything for your own improvement, for your own value, for selfishness, to escape something so that you feel less empty. You're just trying to. It's almost like the this instant gratification in a way, but in a reason of motivation. But so instead of the thinking in that way, and you turn to a more, I'm gonna do this because I know it's right, even if it doesn't benefit me in the moment, then that's where you can push further for more longer periods of time and still get better at the same time. So, how do you do that? I used to think that in order to grow, and this is very recent, like I was really looking into this kind of to this morning and yesterday I was thinking about it, but is it possible to have this undying passion to get better even without not being happy with where you are? So what I mean by that is like, do you need to have that like almost self-hatred, a strong word, but almost self-hatred in where you're at in order to grow, or can you be happy with where you're at and still have that same undying passion to grow? So after like a decent amount of, I spent a couple hours looking into this type of question, because for me personally, I did use like this self-hatred. Like I wasn't happy with where I was. I wanted to get better. And instead of, and what I found really now over, when I look back and look over multiple like periods of my life, I can see that there's times where I'm going through this, like the reason why I'm trying to improve is because I'm not happy with where I'm at. And it's almost like I'm only doing it to escape with where I'm at. And when you do that and you look back at periods in your life, I noticed that like there's times where I burn out, I still feel empty, I still feel dissatisfied, I'm not happy with where I'm at. Even after I was, the ultimate goal was to escape the feeling of being not happy with where I'm at. So then that's where I asked the question is like, do I have like, is the moment I'm in, am I supposed to be happy in it and then still have that passion to get better? And that's what I learned is true. You need to have that, or else even after working yourself and trying to escape it, you're still gonna feel empty. And it's been reoccurring through my life. There's been periods where I just burn out and I stop my consistent work, and I notice like I'm still at the same spot as square one. Maybe I improved, but I still feel the same. If that makes sense. And so after looking into it all, found out about contented ambition. And basically what that principle is the feeling of being happy with where you at, but still knowing that you're capable of more. So to kind of expand on that, think of like you you have to be happy and present in the moment, right? So that you don't feel, so you still feel satisfied, but it has to be a middle ground between being satisfied with where you are to where you don't grow, where you don't feel like you need to grow, and also not going too far to the point where you just hate where you are, so you have to grow. It's like a middle ground where it combines both of them, so that you have the feeling of being satisfied with where you are. You can look back and feel gratitude. You can feel thankful. You can feel proud of where you are, but then still have that passion to be like, okay, I was able to do this, and I know I'm capable of doing more. So you still have that unkillable determination to keep going and get better. And that's the middle ground, the balance, you say, so that you do stay fulfilled in the moment, knowing that you're even going to get even better uh, over time. And that's what I was looking into, and it's kind of shifted my thought process a little bit. And when you implement that gratitude into your life, it it does kind of, it makes you feel less empty and more fulfilled, more satisfied with what you're doing normally. And then because you know that you've got to the point you are now, you know that you can do it again and do it even greater, to greater amounts, greater strides, which in itself is a motivation if you think about it. So that's what I was urging a lot of you guys to do, and I've just found out this about myself now, is to, it's okay to feel proud of where you are as long as it still pushes you to grow. Where that middle ground you need to reach, because if not, you're going to find yourself being too happy with where you are, and you're not going to want to grow, which in turn will probably make you feel dissatisfied anyway. So it's about finding that balance so that you can find the good reasons to do things, and not just, okay, I hate where I'm at, I hate this part about me, I need to change it, and that's the only reason why you want to improve or get better, is because you don't like where you're at right now. Instead, think about like moments that you're proud of, that got you where you are. You worked really hard to get to where you're at, and instead of taking that all for granted, now you have this mentality shift where you're like, okay, I was able to do all of this, so I know I can do better. I'm not where I want to be in the end goal. So you have that balance, so where you want to keep getting better, but you still have the you're still satisfied, basically. And you feel more happy in the moment, you feel more gratitude, and it's going to make you feel less empty at the end of the day, so that you can keep going, instead of eventually, with the self-hatred and all that, for doing things for the wrong reason, doing things for selfish reasons, or to escape a feeling of emptiness. You're doing it for the good reason of helping someone, instead of doing it for a selfish reason of feeling good to escape the emptiness. It's all about shifting that perspective and still having that passion to grow. And when you do that, you can go be more consistent for longer periods of time than if you were to just stay on the self-hatred, and you're eventually going to burn out, feel unfulfilled, feel empty, like what you've done hasn't mattered. In reality, if you practice that gratitude and you're happy in the moment, your present moment, then you will stay on that track longer, and you will feel happier more of the time. And that's the whole point. So that's what I want to talk about today. I urge you guys, and a quote that I read when I was doing all this is like, to be proud of where you are, but know that you're capable of more. That kind of wraps it all in one message, and something hope you guys can think about, so that you can feel more happy more of the time, and also stay more consistent more of the time with what you're trying to do, and not give up or feel burned out or feel empty because the reason you did the thing wasn't a positive reason. So yeah, just want to talk about that today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.